So Jack, business end of the season and very, very familiar territory for yourself in Leinster.
Yeah, absolutely. We've obviously fallen short the last few years, even though we've been unbelievably consistent, making finals and semi-finals and things like that. But we haven't got over the line for a long time. So there's a real sense of eagerness, real desire, a want to drive, a hunger in amongst the squad, and I think lads are taking all their opportunities the last few weeks. Whether you've been playing in the really big knockout games or getting a shot in those URC games, I think the lads have been going really well. So that kind of internal competition, I think, is really spurring us on. And luckily enough, now we're in a good spot. Like, lads are healthy, lads are fit. So it's a joy to be where we are at the moment.
And you mentioned lads getting their shots in the URC. That game against the Sharks down in Durban is one that's still jumping out at people a good few weeks on. I remember after the Harlequins game at Croke Park chatting to Josh van der Fleer, and he was talking about how the group that got to stay at home obviously and prepare for Harlequins got such a boost from seeing that. Is in those situations, do you feel there's almost a responsibility on you to reward, to play for those guys who went through the hard work while you were being able to stay here and train?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's we were lucky enough to get a bit of time off post Six Nations and then to come back in and install for Harlequins and like that. And those boys are down there working unbelievably hard in really tough conditions against good teams. So I think it's just about building momentum, and I think that built us a nice bit of momentum. Those lads brought the energy back into the building of a great performance and a huge win. So the lads wanted to leapfrog off the back of that and push on and make sure that it wasn't, they went and had a good performance and we weren't living up to it. So we felt that pressure on ourselves, the lads that were sitting here at home. So it was brilliant. It set us up really well for Harlequins and then into Glasgow.
Do you have to take a moment at certain times in the season to kind of appreciate getting to so many semi-finals and being in the mix? I know, as you said, you haven't got over the line, but there probably are teams all over the country and around Europe who'd only love to be getting the opportunity to get to these finals. Do you stop and kind of appreciate and take perspective of that?
No, absolutely not. I think after, it is great and it's exactly where we want to be, but when we know how good we can be and what we can achieve, anything but winning is deemed not good enough, So even though we've been incredibly consistent, and to make, 3 finals in a row and 4 finals over the last number of years, it's not where we want to be. We want to be winning. We want to be pushing on and adding more stars to the jersey and everything else. And those, I don't want to say failures, but not getting over the line, it has to be something that spurs you on, that drives and makes you want it more. And I definitely think you feel like there's still so many lads in this environment, unbelievable, who've grown from 2019. Who've come into the squad and are now like world-class players, and they've never really won it in Leinster, and it's about time that we really kick on and get it done. So we're relishing in that opportunity, and it'll be a great opportunity next week against Northampton for us to take another step closer to that.
Those defeats never get easier.
No, absolutely not. Time after time, you lose one final, you lose 2, you lose 3, and then you're just, each one gets more and more difficult to wrap your head around. And so many quality players here, and lads have given so much to the club over the years that you want to do justice by them, do justice by the coaching staff, your family, everyone that supports you at home, and you feel like you let them down a huge amount when you don't get over the line. So we're relishing the opportunity to right wrongs and be better than we have been in the last few years. When I'm saying that, it's about performance next week and being at our absolute best. And we were good against Harlequins in Glasgow in parts, but we want to push on and keep on getting better. So we're not thinking about another final, and we're not thinking about anything else. We're thinking about Northampton next week. So
speaking of Northampton, then, last year's semi-final, what are your abiding memories from that day at Croke Park?
What are my abiding memories? Me making the turnover to kind of squash the last attack, and Caelan said he had one hand in as well, which was not true, but just fantastic day out. That was the first time we'd all played in Croke Park bar Keane, so to be in that kind of historic stadium and to have it full, and a European semi there was just unbelievable. So that was an incredibly special day. I think we started really well and then drifted out of the game a huge amount, and they stuck in it really well. And I think it finished 2017, so it was really close in the end, and we were kind of chasing our tails a little bit. So we know performance-wise we definitely weren't on it that day, and I know they've had a huge amount of kind of changes in personnel over the last year. You know, Courtney Laws, Ludlam, lads like that moving on. So they're a different outfit, but their DNA is still the same. So we know we'll have to be much better than we were that day.
Well, speaking of the changes from last year, they've a hotshot 20-year-old Henry Pollock who seems to be capturing the imagination of everyone this season. What do you think when you see like a 20-year-old who just seems to be bursting with confidence, is playing unbelievable? It rubs some people up the wrong way. What do you like when you see a young player coming onto the scene like that, having that level of confidence? What do you think?
Yeah, I think fair play to him. Like, he obviously backs himself. You know, I watched moments of the Cast game, and obviously gets 2 tries, I think, and he had some huge moments, and he looks like a fantastic athlete. It's great to see young lads coming through and pushing on, and you know, getting success. He obviously got his debut during the Six Nations. I think he scored another try or 2 in that. So look, he seems like an absolute handful, and he seems like a good player, good athlete, and you know, someone we'll have to be wary of. So fair play to him. Like, you know, you love to see young lads pushing on and going well, and yeah, we know we'll have to be at our best and making sure he's not having an influence, but you know, he's a quality player.
Are you playing better now than you were this time last year?
Yeah, I think we are. I think defensively, when Jacks came in last year, it's such a different defensive system than anything would have been used before. So it's a thing that took a long time to really install, and for lads to be comfortable with it, and for it to become habitual and instinctive. So I think that's now happened. I think we now know, you know, what to do, when to do it, and we back ourselves to do it. Where before, I think there was some lads who got it 100%, and some lads who didn't maybe get it 100%. And in the system like that, if you don't commit fully to it, everyone, you know, you're going to get picked apart. And I think we're just more comfortable with it now. It's installed that bit better. I think Tyler's come in, and you know, he's added another layer to our attack, and I think you've really seen that grow the last few months in particular. Because it's difficult doing the both of them. It's obviously the defensive system we have is you need high levels of fitness to do it, to complete it. And I think at the start of the season, again, growing into that and growing into new tax system shapes, it took a while for things to click, but now it's kind of paying dividends, that hard work over the last few months, the analysis, the work by the coaches and all that. I think it's really come to the fore. So I think it's massively on the up.
It was said by Bernard Jackman a couple of times, your Jack Nienaber's defensive system has made you play like psychos. Do you take that as a compliment? How do you see that? Yeah,
no, definitely. There's definitely a few psychos in the team anyway. You see Tommy O'Brien running around smashing lads on the wing and stuff, and a few headbangers in the pack as well. So yeah, look, it might look a bit chaotic at times, but we know it's quite strategic and well planned out. So I think when you have the athletes across the board that we do, you see Ringer and Robbie and Jordi, lads in the centre, being able to get out the back of shapes and shut people down. We have the athletes that we do, it works really well. So it might look chaotic, but it's very much a well thought out system, and yeah, you need a few cycles in there to go and put your head where you wouldn't put a shovel.
Yeah, you've got some nice additions to the team this year as well. Jordi Barrett specifically, though, I want to talk about. Most people thought he was going to be a good addition to the team. Did you think he was going to add as much as he has already?
It's look, there was no doubt that everyone knew when he was coming in that he was a world-class player, but I think there's so many things when you watch a guy play at international level that goes under the radar that you can't really appreciate in the moment, and then you come in here and you see how diligent he is, how professional he is, how quickly he bought into the system, the environment, the culture, everything. And it's a testament to how much of a good lad he is. You know, I think he's, you know, so universally well liked and obviously incredibly well respected. And it's great to have players like that coming here in the prime of his career. You know, 28, he's 68 odd international caps, which is incredible going. And it's been great to see him just grow and grow in the jersey over the last few months, even in the building as well. Like, you know, you're a little bit in your shell when you first come in, new environment and all that, and you can see him now. It's like part of the furniture. So he's been great. He's great to learn off. I think speaking to some of the centres, you know, they love working with him. His communication is kind of how detail oriented he is during the week. He's also unbelievable athlete. Like, he's huge and big, rangy, and great skill set and stuff like that. So when you're on the park with someone like that and he's giving you big moments, it just gives everyone a lift.
You said the team are playing better than they were this time last year. Do you think you're playing better than this time last year?
It doesn't matter what I think.
How are you feeling just in general at the moment?
Yeah, I feel good. I was happy enough with how it went on a personal level over the Six Nations. And happy enough. I'm thinking of doing that six role a bit more and constantly kind of just growing into it and trying to get better at it and develop in that role. And I feel like I'm getting there, and I'm enjoying my rugby. When you look around and you see the players that you've got and the talent, it brings the best out of you, and you just want to make sure that you're paying back the other lads the trust and the faith that they put in you to make sure that you're at the level. So that's something that's always kind of a huge motivator for me, is like, don't let your mates down. So yeah, I'm on a personal level, I'm happy enough where I'm at. I was disappointed to come off early against Glasgow, but I'm all good now, and I hope to just keep on pushing on and keep on playing and getting more minutes under my belt. I think I've got, last year didn't have a whole lot of minutes by the end of the season, or at this stage anyway. I think I've nearly doubled that. So, no one ever got better not playing, and even now at this stage of my career, I still want to get better and I still want to be playing. So, the more minutes, the better. There's
a Lions squad being announced a few days after this Northampton game. Is that in the back of your mind at all?
Look,
you obviously got the taste in 2021, but I suppose it was a very different taste to what others would have had.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the crowd and the atmosphere and the energy around the Lions is so much to do with the fans and everyone who travels, that sea of red that everyone always talks about. So it was what it was in 21. It couldn't have been there, and but it was still incredibly special. I loved every moment of it. There's some great crack and met some good people, and it was something I never thought I'd do. It's not something that I ever thought was on my radar. Because till up to that point I was kind of in and out internationally a lot. So look, whatever happens this year happens. It would be an incredible honour and a joy to go again. But all you can do is be at your best and perform for Leinster in the next few weeks. And if it happens, great. And if it doesn't, then that's on me. So I won't have anyone else to blame.
And to finally, a little bit of a left field one, but we've spoken about that kind of endless pursuit of trying to get your hands back on that trophy again. Would you look at possibly the story of Rory McIlroy a couple of weeks ago? Do you see parallels between yourselves and what he has gone through over the last period of time?
Yeah, well, it's funny you say that. Like, I think the lads were absolutely buzzing when that happened. I actually got him in the sweepstakes here, so tenner in for everyone. So I was absolutely delighted. Mrs. was delighted as well. So that was huge, and it was great. It was great to watch, and obviously he's someone who's been thereabouts for so long. So to get to career Grand Slam for him was brilliant. And I know there's a lot of mad keen golfers in here, so I'm sure they would have taken a huge amount of inspiration from that, and might be something that we kind of lean into over the next few weeks a little bit.
Do you take inspiration from other kind of sports stars, seeing the journeys that they go through? Do you try to draw parallels between what you're doing?
Yeah, absolutely, and it's something we've done hugely over the last few years. Different sporting icons we've looked at in their mindset, whether it be Michael Jordan, Tiger Woods, Rory McIlroy, Michael Phelps, different lads like that over the years that were at the pinnacle of high performance for such a long time, and we were always trying to draw parallels and gain inspiration from people like that. And Rory's been a huge sense of inspiration for everyone, and it's always great to see an Irish person do it as well. So it's hopefully it's something we can lean on a little bit now.
Great stuff. Good luck on Saturday.
Cheers, lads.